Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the You Can Heal Global Summit. I am your host, Karina Stewart, and I'm joined today with Mas Sajady. Welcome, Mas.
Karina, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So there's so many reasons why I wanted to have you on this summit.
Yes.
We share some parallels, and I want to get into that. But
Yes.
First, let me share with the audience here a bit about you, because you're such a profound individual to be present today and in this time on planet Earth. So, here's the thing, everyone. Mas has experienced several near-death experiences, and this is how he became gifted with many gifts, including intuitive healing abilities.
Yes.
that have, really create the significance of his level of healing and what he's capable of, let's say, like releasing from others and then sparking others into their core frequency.
I love that.
Yes, so that you may redesign and reprogram your blueprint and materialize fast with tangible results and manifesting abundance in all areas of your life. Thousands around the world have transformed their lives just after one or a few sessions with Mas. And I love this. Change your frequency, change your life.
Yes.
And that, Mas, is an awesome way for us to begin, because can you just tell us what did happen to you? What happened to you in your life?
Sure. So, a lot of people have near-death experiences, but for me, for my trajectory to get to the level that I've gotten, I think I was actually groomed before the near-death experiences. So when I have them, it allows me to ascend higher than normal, kind of like awaken higher. So you prepare yourself, because before my first near-death experience, which was a warehouse accident, I crushed my jaws in a rail car accident.
Wow.
So before, I was looking for ways. So I went into religion. It's like, religion is going to help me feel good about myself. That internal general sense of well-being that we are all looking for, right? That didn't work out. I went towards money and success. It's like, if you're successful, right? And I knew a lot of people who were very successful, a lot of money, and they had the same issues as people who didn't have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't about the money. And again, guys, I'm not saying that money is the root of all evil or anything like that. It's in reality, once you're connected to, say, a higher source or actually awakened, money is actually, can be used as a scorecard on how connected you are. Okay, that's how, different the paradigm of what I call exponential intelligence. Exponential intelligence is the knowledge that I tap into, the truest knowledge that's there, sees how money works. So again, I was really groomed to have that first near-death experience and start to see who I was, not from, say, a physical standpoint, right? Because if I ask you who you are, you'll go, well, I'm a doctor, or I'm this, or worse yet, I'm so-and-so's spouse, right? You've lost total identity of who you are. But most of those explanations are really, human-based or physical-based, right? And the physical, the definition is really, less than or at most 1% of who we truly are, right? The other 99% that we don't even focus on in this reality is the grandness that we are, the wealth that we are, the abundance that we are. I got to see that firsthand when I had my jaws. I was just hanging by my neck pretty much on this rafter. I pulled away and I saw the 1% that we focus on, right? 100% time, and pulled away, and I was like, oh my God, I'm dead. And this grandness came through, and this love came through, and it's like, wow, this is who I truly am. And I saw the strength, the completeness, the beauty, right? There is no lack, by the way, in any form, including, wealth or money. So that was the first near-death experience. The second near-death experience happened around 2006, 2007, as I was older. And that really groomed me to understand the mechanics or the science behind what really creates, say, the life structure or our physical form or the
Yeah.
reality. So that one, and the difference between me and a lot of people who have, say, near-death experiences is that, well, you've had a few, well,
Yeah.
one yourself maybe, and then a couple through other people.
Right.
The tunnel of light that people talk about, right? I actually went, say, through the tunnel of light and transcended on the other side. And
Yeah.
usually that's for people who stay on the other side. It's kind of a uh, introductory area. In the beginning, the first tunnel of light or the introductory is like your loved ones are there. They greet you into that space.
Right.
You ascend higher and higher. You transcend through, and then you stay there into that heavenly space. I actually went there and then came back. And that's the difference between me and then most other people who have had a near-death experience. So I brought that knowledge of who we are, that 99%, into, say, a living form. And that's where my abilities come from. As a note, I've honed my abilities. It took me a while to get to this level, about 4 years, say,
Mhm.
dark times. Um, um, I just want to stress, though, that I'm not anybody really, say, special. I'm actually, say, a memory of who we all are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's so many ways I want to go here, but I'll pick up first on this is that, because I do want to honor the role that you are playing. While you are not
oh, thank you.
different than
Right,
anyone else, right? And we all have these capabilities.
right.
You are playing, from how I see it, is you're playing a role though, right?
Yes.
And could you speak about that? Because I certainly relate. I had the same experience in my own personal near death, that I went completely into the center of the universe, into the cosmic heart, and I retrieved and came back and was resurrected. And so again, so this is why I bring it up, because we all are playing a role, and yours is a special one in terms of awakening others into who they actually are.
Right.
So can you talk about that from the level of, what is it that you do?
Right. So that's a really good question. And if you think about it, I'm a harbinger, somebody that brings in, say, a whole different, say, level of understanding this reality, right? Harbinger is somebody that brings in, say, massive change on the way we look at things. So in that essence, yes, before there was like the industrial age, the technology age, and now we're into communication communication age. So we're stepping into, I don't know what that age is, but the age of knowing, okay, or understanding who we are. And what that means is that, well, just like any other pioneer, somebody has to come in and show or pave.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm here for. And many people think, or many people come to me and, they have, say, physical issues, health problems, even cancers and so on. And again, guys, I'm not saying I'm a doctor. I don't say I cure anybody. But what I do for you, whether you have relationship issues or wealth issues or anything like that, I help you awaken your own natural healing ability or transformational ability, and then you cure your own self of whatever it might be. So I'm that individual that, yes, people come to me and their lives here physically get better, but that's a side benefit.
Yeah.
I'm actually here to awaken people at a much, much higher level. So in the near future, we can create this realm without the distortions, without the destruction, without the devastation. So I'm here to, I guess, for the afterworld. So I'm actually
I
here.
love that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
You're so awakened in this reality, in this level, that you go into the afterworld and you ascend much higher than ever on the other side. So when you come back down, right, you're not creating from distortions. You're not creating from, say, what your mom or dad or whatever, destroyed their lives from, right? It's you at its purest form. And that way we can really, say, transform the world. The side benefit is that you're wealthier and healthier and so on like that, for you to understand true abundance.
So, that leads us into, could you, you mentioned in the beginning about money, And there's two paradigms we could say. I mean, there's probably more, but for simplicity, we'll talk about two paradigms. I call it fear money and love money. Okay. And what I heard you say was so cool, because you talked about, and I think this is where we can kind of really get our audience thinking about this, that money in the new paradigm of love money that is sourced out of the love that we are all of, actually can become a scorecard for your level of spiritual embodiment of yourself, right? Of who you are.
Right.
I think that's juicy, because that's going to trigger some mental activity of like, well, what are you trying to say? How much money I have is, a scorecard on that says how good I am on a spiritual level or whatever, right? Yeah. So can we go there? I just want to go there.
I'd love to go there. I'd love to go there, Karina, because I want to clarify what I say, because people are going to walk away and go, Moss said that the more money you have, the more spiritual connected you are. Yeah. No, I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
So let's just back it up a couple steps and I'll explain. So in most of reality, or what today's standard is, right, is that we keep ourselves separate from, say, our spiritual self compared to our physical self. Okay. In EI's definition, or exponential intelligence definition, by the way, I have a podcast, Exponential Intelligence.
Okay.
So in that definition, you are not different. You are just one. You are what you are. You're not separate. Your physical form isn't here. Your spirit isn't outside of you. Again, you're one. You're totally awakened. Okay. And then furthermore, as clarity, before we go into the actual, say, example, is that when I say money can be used as a scorecard on how pure you are, okay, I'm talking about money that doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't get generated from the outside. It doesn't get generated from what you do on the outside.
Right.
It's not the logistics. Okay, if I invest in this, or if I create a new invention, whatever, it's not that. It's because you're pulling money in, and that actually, say, distorts you. Just like if you try to pull love in, right? Or try to attract some spouse that you want to like hold on to, right? That'll distort you as well, or even health will distort you. This isn't about that. Okay, that's again keeping an outside, and that really distorts you. And that's why, again, in a lot of religions, right, they say it's easier for somebody to go to heaven versus the wealthy man going to heaven. It's easier than a camel going through the eye of the needle and all that, right? That's where they get that idea. So that's true. And even Jesus put it in a sense that, Jesus in his parables wasn't even talking about, say, money as sin, but the love of money, or getting your confidence from anything physical here. Right? That's what he was talking about. And again, it's gotten distorted through, say, the religious or spiritual belief systems. What I'm talking about is that the higher that you are connected within, say, that paradigm of you and your physical form, your spirit, okay, the more that you are connected, the closer that you become of spirit form. Now, your spirit does not have any lack. If you read any scripture, right, if you sense, I mean, you've had a near-death experience. Was there any lack when you went on to the other side?
None at all.
You were totally complete.
Totally complete. Even to the point where I saw the reality of because mine happened when I was giving birth to my son.
Okay.
So obviously there could have been huge attachment there, right? I mean, I have a newborn baby. I already had a 1-year-old. I have a husband, this beautiful family. And how tragic, right? To lose my life in birth to this gorgeous being that I just birthed. But I saw that parallel reality of my husband raising both children, and I saw his sadness, and I felt no lack. I felt only love. Right. I could actually experience both, but in the state being that I was in, it was all okay.
Yes,
exactly. All okay. Yeah.
So that completeness that you felt there, notice that you didn't need any money, you didn't need any love. You didn't need
Right.
anybody, no security, because you are all that you are. How can you be insecure if you're
Right.
all you are, right?
Yeah.
So you move that over. I mean, that's on the spirit side. You move that into the physical being of this world. Okay? And when you create, say, with such completeness, you can never have lack in this physical realm, just
Yeah.
like you didn't have lack on the other side,
Exactly.
right? You're
Right.
actually living your complete being here, and that's what it's really about. And this is what I call 360 degrees of abundance. You live in health, right? There's no need for illness, right? Because there's, again, that's lack. There's no need for incompleteness in relationships, because again, that's lack. There's no need for any lack of, say, sustainability as far as, say, physicalness of or what we call money or finances, right? There doesn't need to be any of that. There doesn't need to be a learning experience around that. Because
I
again,
get
you
it.
know
Yeah.
everything that there is. So that's why I say that, the closer that you are connected, it's not just, say, money is the scorecard, but your level of, say, abundance, okay, all around at 360 degrees of abundance.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
key. And you don't have to work your ass off. Sorry. You don't
That
have to
is
work your,
true. Yeah, because that's the old paradigm,
that's
right?
the
I
old
mean,
paradigm.
which is, I love how that visual, what you said about that then you're trying to pool money to you, or pool a spouse to
Yes.
you, or pool a job opportunity, or the home, or the whatever it is, and it's all this energy going out rather than generating it from
Right.
within, where it actually births, and it's this organic,
Exactly.
wealth, this
Flowing.
organic
Yes.
materialization
Yes.
of what you require. And I like to use that word. I actually I use it in an upgraded way, because it's not about I need this. It's that, we have these requirements to fulfill our purpose, our service, and our mission for being
Of
here.
course.
I often talk about, my move to Puerto Rico was a requirement for my family and for my service mission to the planet to
Right.
be here. So,
Right.
so I manifested in the way that you're speaking of, to be here.
Right.
And from the outside, it looks certainly a lot more abundant and wealthy, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, there was no trying to make it happen. It just happened.
Right. So,
Yeah.
to further get in more detail on your example,
Yeah.
when you try to make wealth happen, right, you're always going to be trying,
Yeah.
right? So that means that people, they're millionaires or billionaires, back in like 2008, right, when that crash happened, right? There were billionaires that committed suicide because they lost a lot of wealth.
Right.
Even if they lost a lot of wealth, they were probably wealthier than, say, 90% of the population. But that was insecurity on their part, right? So same thing with relationships. If you're always trying to hold on to a relationship, it really becomes burdensome. And then whatever, say, you want, the abundance that you're looking for, in this case, say, money, becomes you become a slave to the money. Just like a lot of people, they go to work from 9 to 5, or hire management or an entrepreneur, right? They become a slave to their money because they don't enjoy their family, they don't enjoy their life, because they have to keep perpetuating. That's not the case through exponential intelligence. It really brings in, because you're opening up the flow of abundance within you, and then everything has to show up the way it should. Whether it's like 1,000 a month that you need, 10,000 a month, a million a month, it doesn't matter, guys. There's no negativity in that. There's no sin in making as much money as you need to, because if you're doing it from, again, a higher value, an exponential intelligence value, everything is a win-win situation. You're not taking away somebody else's resources. You're actually helping other people ascend higher as you ascend higher. Right.
I just want to share, I'm very energetically sensitive, and so as you speak, right? I get it. I get it as so there's scales on the pyramid, right? And I get, as you were speaking, and I was really dialing into the exponential intelligence that you're speaking of, and so then I was getting it as stair steps on the pyramid, which are the different octaves and levels. And what the question that came forward, or I guess the topic to lead us into, is I've been talking about and sharing what I'm calling like a new wealth consciousness.
Yes.
There, like, because I see it as what you're saying, which is this: the wealth has a consciousness, it has a desire in
Yes.
order to serve humanity and the planet in a really gorgeous way right now.
Right.
And it is diverse in what that looks like for each human being when you begin to embody this new form of money consciousness, wealth consciousness.
Yes.
Well,
it's actually, I look at it.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually look at it as an adornment. You know how when you really love somebody, you'd like to adorn them with gifts, right? So when you start to awaken, right, when you start to connect with your spirit at such a high level, that love that you feel for yourself, right? It really is the love that you feel for yourself. It's not anything else, although we equate it to God or, whatever else, right? Something outside of us, that's a misnomer. That connection, spirit comes in and sees the beauty of who that human body that's been created, right? In some religions, the Holy Ghost that they talk about, that's actually, say, your physical body, right? See the beauty and the grace, the tenderness of what's been created in human form, and then your spirit likes to adorn it with gifts, beautify it, right? Take care of it. In the form of, say, a luxury condo or a beautiful car or jewelry or whatever, vacations or whatever that you like. Okay? And those things don't destroy you. They don't. The money doesn't make you. It doesn't create you. It adorns you at the level that you are. Does that make sense? It's not the reverse.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I make a lot of money, therefore I am confident. Right? It's not that way. It's the other way around. Because I'm so confident and I connected to my inner self, my spirit self, I am. That's why I say make a lot of money, or I am abundant in all forms.
Exactly. It's this inner to outer reflection, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the reflection of who you are on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other way in today's society, where you have a lot of wealthy individuals, but they're very insecure because they're trying to create that reflection of, say, security in a fake state, and it doesn't work out.
Right.
So you don't become a jerk. You don't become egotistical like a lot of people think. Like if I make a lot of money, and I'm just reading your audience. By the way, as you're sensing, say, the frequencies that I generate for you just by talking, your audience will feel it as well.
Exactly. So, yeah. Each of these, it's why who I invite is really special, because I know they carry a frequency that will require and will transform them.
Yep.
So these are little portals or big portals. Each of these interviews, I just love this. Yeah. So one of the things I want to ask you about, because of course both you and I are sitting here saying, well, we had near-death experiences and this really transformed us and enlightened us, and now that kind of it paved a path and opening for purpose and for manifestation of abundance to support our special purposes. Now, okay, aside from having a near-death experience and going that way, because that's not the norm, how does one actually begin to heal the distortions and to unify oneself, health, wealth, happiness, well-being, where do you begin?
Sure. That's a great question again. So I've figured out a way, again, through the experiences that I've had of honing my abilities, my supernatural abilities that everybody has. And that's what I do. I've figured out a way where I can connect you to your higher self, or to pure source, as I call it, through an awakened higher self, without having the near-death experience.
Okay.
I don't know. I do know the logistics, but if just listening to this podcast, your interview,
you will start to receive it and shift.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of other things, the 21 days or group healings or whatever else that we do. So that's how I do it. You don't have to have a near-death experience
Yeah.
to get to the higher levels.
And I think that's really important what you're saying, because two things that I think, I really want people to hear. One, we do this together.
Right.
We really are a human family. And when I said in the beginning, we're playing different roles.
Yes.
This is a role that you're playing to help and support someone to their next, phase of ascension.
Of course. Yeah.
And awakening. And when that happens for that person, then they're going to help the next. And so to not be concerned about, because the old paradigm was like, figure it out, on your own, very individual, right?
Sure.
And the new path of the heart and unified heart consciousness and, working with source energy and, is that we're unified in this work together.
Exactly. We're unified. We're not, say, an island of our own, right? We don't have to pull away or steal away from others to make us abundant.
Right.
And that not only goes to, say, working hand in hand to, say, beautify or, say, come into, say, new inventions or new ideas that'll make life easier. But it also, when you're at when you're using pure source perspective or exponential intelligence to, say, create abundance, there's no win-lose situation for anything and anybody, right? When you're coming into abundance, your partners, your business partners, your customers, your competitors, they all win. The earth all wins. So we'll create, say, products that aren't going to be devastating, the climate or bringing pollution and anything like that, because that's a win-lose situation. We're going to start to figure out products that are actually beneficial to the earth, that help the earth, say, sustain its own, say, natural balance, right? Because again, you're coming from pure source productivity, not, say, mental productivity.
Absolutely.
Very archaic, by the way.
It is very archaic, and we don't have time to talk about why we had to go through that. But the good news is we're in a new space where, and this is the second point that I wanted to make based on what you shared, is that it actually doesn't need to be hard.
No, not at all. The most intelligent, say, products are very simplistic or make our life simplistic, right? But on the back end, it's very intricate, and that's why it's so simplistic.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting into.
Right. It's this precision, right, of the divine design. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Amazing. Well, Mas, I really could be in this energy wave with you for a long time. It's just glorious, really.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And, we started to mention a couple of ways that people can get in touch, but why don't you just share, how can people learn more about your work and connect with you? What would be the best?
Sure. Yeah, and well, we have a free gift that my office has set up for you. It's for the love of money.
Yeah.
And this is about the true love of money. Okay. It's a frequency spa that we did. So you get a copy of that. I'm sure you guys have all the details. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you go to massajady.com, MASSAJADY.com, there's a lot of information on that. I have a podcast. That's actually one of the fastest growing podcasts.
Okay.
Not because we spend a lot of advertising, but because it actually works for people. So
all right.
It's organic growth. So
I like that. Yeah. So that's a way people can really be in this frequency with you. Yeah.
Right. They start to understand the science or the mechanics behind how frequencies work, so you can generate or materialize things on your own.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. That is a wealth right there of resources. Yeah. So appreciate that. And just again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. All right. Everyone, check your inbox for the next set of interviews. They'll be coming right up. And thanks again for watching the You Can Heal Global Summit. Have a blessed day, everyone.